Hey guys, it's Matt here from the Bull Call, and today I just want to go over CCIV and the disappointing day it had today. Alright guys, before we get into the video, I just quickly wanted to ask you guys if you could please just go down below and just click that subscribe button, the like button. It really helps the channel so much, guys. Like, I can't stress it enough. It immensely helps out the channel so much. So yeah, let's get right into the 5-minute charts here on Webull. So CCIV is always in the middle right here, as we can see. We had some okay pre-market movement, other than the nice spike downwards, right here at the beginning. We had some nice movement. We had a little move forward up, a nice little move upwards. We had some, about the 24, which isn't bad at all. And then we had some selling off, just like, casual pre-market stuff. And then we had this big, nice red candle down. Which is really interesting, and then we actually bounced immediately right back up, which is perfect. And yeah, we saw some decent movement. We actually saw us break. We were obviously green for a little bit of time there. We were up about maybe 1%, and then we obviously sold off, and like there goes a whole percent there. Yeah. And it was kind of a disappointing day. It was just a very day. The markets had a nice little sell-off right at the right about noon. It is what it is. I mean, this kind of stuff happens all the time. And like Apple did a very nice day. All tech stocks. I mean, Nasdaq right off the bat, shot right up. I mean, it had a little bit of sell-off, but it regained it instantly. I mean, S&P closed pretty much flat. It wouldn't have closed flat if it, didn't have these two red candles at the close. But I mean, yeah. Overall, it was a decent day. I mean, AI had a nice little move today. Tesla up a little bit. Well, not a little bit. I mean, 2% is pretty nice. Pretty nice movement. If we jump over to the 4-hour charts here, we could see a disappointing movement because not only was it just like an day, it also rejected the level we needed to break. We needed to break out here. And we needed to break right around here, 25. We needed to break 25. And if we broke 25, we could see this 27 level again. But I mean, we are totally still above this trend line. We're still totally fine with this trend line upwards. We have to just break this 25 level. And then once we break that, we're going to finally see some upward movement. And it's going to be tight because we are already bouncing off this trend line. That's not... It's a good sign because it makes it seem like it's strong, but we have to see some upward movement so it doesn't keep trying to bounce and bounce and bounce, and then it might break. And that's the hardest thing. Like when you look at the S&P, it doesn't really bounce off this trend line too much. Like we're like right here, and we're bouncing off the trend line. So it's like if it went down and then up and then right back here. The S&P hasn't bounced off this trend line since right around October, because it was just a straight line up from March to September 2nd, and then just a plummet straight down again. I mean, it wasn't a plummet. It was a good 10+% correction. But I mean, now we're bouncing right off this trend line again and again and again. Which is not showing weakness at all. It's just showing it could very easily now break through and break down. And that's the problem. The next time we break down, it can definitely break this trend line. And that's not good because, well, this trend line's been set since the March lows. That could mean some bearish movement for the following weeks if we do see this break. And we almost broke it today, actually, or yesterday. We almost broke it yesterday. Today. Yeah, we almost broke it today, which is very interesting. We did actually break through it right here in May, but we recovered. Like that. That's why you gotta wait for the candle to close. That's one of the most important things, even when you're trading, especially when you're trading, is you gotta wait for the candle to close. As I always say, with anything, like right here, I know it didn't bounce perfectly on the line down here, but it almost did. And I waited for the candle to close, and it jumped up 7%. right here, we broke down. But guess what? You gotta wait for the candle to close. It closed actually a green. It actually closed like a green candle, which is actually perfect. You gotta wait for the candle to close. That's the most important thing. If it breaks down, if this candle closed here, that meant we were gonna have a bearish reversal, and then we could have seen not this, we could have seen this straight downwards. We would have seen a lot of bearish movement. If this closed, it would have most likely sent it downwards. But we actually closed a lot higher. Everyone bought it up because people know about this trend line. It's a very popular trend line that it's been set since the March lows. So people just buy. That's why you can see. That's why these look so wicked down. They bought. They get bought right off these lows. Bought it right off the lows. Every single time it hits this trend line, bought off the trend line. That's just because there was a supply area right there. Bought off the trend line, bought off the trend line, bought off the trend line, bought off the trend. It's interesting that CCIV is doing this right now. It's literally this. It's what we're seeing right now in SPY. Oh man, excuse me. We had a little bounce here, and then we're retesting it already, which is not the greatest sign, because now if it bounces, it would have to bounce again, and that's very hard because now you're trying to break this new all-time high record. Not like we're not trying to break this new all-time high on CCIV, but the next time we have to be very careful. Every sometimes it hits this blue line, we got to be very careful. Sure, could you play calls? Like if I played calls right here, that would have been a perfect play. And that's a very risky strategy though, because it's very risky, but it could be very rewarding because of this. It bounces and you're saying, "Oh, it's right here." You're like, you want to wait for the candle, and then it actually wicks above the trend line. You're like, "I'm buying calls right here." And you buy the calls, and you get, a ton of profits because the stock went up 4.3% in a day, and you had your calls. So I mean, it's definitely a way you could play this trend line, or you even could say if it closes below, you immediately put in puts because it's gonna just plummet down. So what we have to look for the next few days, or next week I should say, we have to see it break this purple box and keep this trend line going, and for the next few weeks we have to see this trend line keep going upwards. So as long as we see that, we should be totally fine. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one, so peace out.